Hey everybody, and welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz, Jack and Lady Cecil and Lake Jackson, and this is coming from my little shitty alley kitchen, which is basically my set. This is where I cook now. So, this is going to be great. This is stepping into what Letty calls getting close to pissing off our Louisiana people recipe. I'm going to attempt this. I haven't tried it before. This is going to be an experimental kitchen. If I knew how to do graphics, that'd be really cool. Like, this is experimental kitchen. We're going to try to make some tacos. It's Gulf Coast. We're close enough to Louisiana where this is good enough. And I found this stuff on sale for cheap. So we're going to do that. Before we do, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, ring the little bell, get notifications when we do these on Tuesdays and Fridays. And there's a link down to the doobly-doo for our spatulas. Hook explains all our merch, right? We got all kind of neat stuff down there. We're a small business. We very much appreciate it. And let's just get into it. I'm going to try not to mess this up. This will be good. Alright, so you're going to need some of these crawfish tails. They're already cooked. They're already peeled. You need to thaw them out. They were frozen when I got them. So you need to make sure be sure to check on the back. It'll tell you like this is fully cooked, whatever. Get the fully cooked stuff. Now everything else is what you're going to dress your tacos with. I'm going to cook mine with the green onions and use some cilantro to dress. You're going to need some taco seasoning. All right, and then you can get that for like 40 cents. And then whatever kind of tortillas you use, flour, corn. I'm a white guy. My hands are too stupid for corn, so I usually use flour. You're going to need a little bit of butter to cook some of this stuff. And then salt and pepper, whatever you're going to season that with if you want it. I don't like using a lot of salt and pepper because your taco seasoning has generally all the seasonings you need, and it's really salty. The secret sauce that we used on our fish tacos, this works on this really well too. And then I like using the sour cream. It really helps out with some of the flavors and stuff. And then hot sauce. Like I got this Texas sriracha and the truff hot sauce is really good. First things first, you're going to need to wash your veg. Now, we're not going to use all of our cilantro, so you can untie this and just bring out a small, like handful, just a little bit of your bushel here, and then tie up the rest of it, put it up, and then wash what's your other stuff. You don't want to get a lot of water on stuff that you put in the fridge. So the green onions, same thing. We're only going to use, I think, like 3 or 4 of this because we're going to cook them down, but you need to make sure to clean them and wash them very well, especially down there by the roots, okay? So once you get them nice and washed, get you a nice sharp knife, again, shout out to Andy, and then just cut these down. Now, I try not to get a lot of the stems in there. They got more of a bitter taste, and again, if you don't like cilantro, don't use it, especially if you have the soap gene, that kind of stuff, but I try to get as much of the leaves off as possible and try to not do the stems. So I just tried a little shave there, but couldn't get it all. So just get rid of your stems, and then we're going to chop up the rest of it. Now, it's just super fine if you can, but just run it through once if you need to. I think I'd do it like 2 or 3 times and just kind of whack at it. Set it aside. Green onion is the same thing. You want to cut off these root ends, just the bare end of them, as best as you can. Make sure to get all of it because that tastes like horrible. Get rid of that, and we're just going to chop the rest of this, okay? Just single, run it down, try to cut it all the way through. Let it slide when it hits the board a little bit. Make sure to cut off the edges of it. Especially when you get down here to the very green ends. If you don't, you'll get long strings with just cuts in them because it's kind of fibrous down there at the end, and it's really soft, so it's hard to cut through. Now get you a decent sized skillet, put it at about medium high, frying pan, skillet, whatever you got. And then you want to use about 2 tablespoons, 1 or 2 tablespoons, depending on what you want to use. It's marked on the side of your butter. And then just put it off in there, let that melt down a little bit. Now, once it's liquid, it doesn't take long, so keep an eye on it. Go ahead and throw your green onions in there. We're going to let those start cooking to where they start to get soft. Like I said, the dark green parts are always going to be soft, but where your whites and the lighter greens start getting softer, where they're not mush, but just a little bit of soft. And then take your crawfish, again, make sure it's nice and thawed, and just pull the whole thing in there, okay? And give it a nice stir, put the meat down on the metal. Like I said, it's already cooked, so at this point we're just heating it and getting the seasoning to it. Once it gets nice and warm all over, it'll have liquid that comes out of it. So you'll see that here in a second. That's not me adding anything else. But like after like 3 or 4 minutes, you'll see that there's more of the crawfish liquid. There you go. See? Now, when you're using taco seasoning, if you go by the directions for like regular meats, it'll tell you to add like a cup of water, which is way too watery down here on the coast. And since this already has it in here, what we're going to do is with the crawfish water and the butter that's there, we're just going to go ahead and add the taco seasoning to that. All right, all the water is getting a decent boil to it. Again, 3 to 4 minutes. Put the seasoning in it and then give it a stir. Make sure everything gets that seasoning on it. All right, sometimes it takes a while, especially if you're not using a whole bunch of water. It's gonna feel like you're gonna have to stir the crap out of it to get it in there. Go ahead and turn your fire down to as low as possible because we want to let it simmer with the seasoning on it. It really helps absorb that flavor and get the seasoning all over everything. So turn it all the way down to the lowest setting. It usually has a simmer setting on most the stovetops or whatever.
Get that in there, and it'll start to thicken everything. That the powder will absorb all of your stuff. So like 2 to 4 minutes. You see how thick this is? Perfect for like your tacos or whatever. So once you get that in there, you can see that there's none that isn't covered. So go ahead and kill your fire and remove it from heat. You don't want it to overheat or cook or sear on the bottom. So once you got that done, remove it from heat and you're done. Now let's dress them. I'm going to show you how to dress these things. Now again, I use my 3 taco tier system with my big white hands for my flour tortillas. Then just put some meat down here in the bottom of it. Now however much you want to do, it's up to you. Depends on what you're going to dress it with. If you're going to do some salsa and some heavier, chunkier stuff on top, don't use as much of the meats. Right, that's just basic taco building 101. I should probably do a video about that. But just put it on here. Now, the secret sauce goes great, especially on the meat portions of this. So I just went ahead and added it at the bottom. Now, it's crawfish. I don't know if a cheese would be good with it and what kind of cheese would. So I left cheese off of my taco this time. And then just going to dress it with a little bit of cilantro and then some sour cream just for the one in the middle for me, because that's just what I like. So you can add more onion if you're into it. You can add your hot sauce. I really like the truffle stuff. I feel highfalutin and fancy when I say eat the hot sauce with truffles in it, but it's got an excellent flavor and a great burn. So give that a try. Just some sour cream in the middle just to show for the pictures. But that's it. There you go. Crawfish tacos. Super simple, super basic. These are amazing. The crawfish is your big expenditure on this one. They're going to be anywhere between like $6 and $8. But everything else is relatively cheap, so it's not that problem. I wouldn't suggest these for a meal prep thing, because if you reheat crawfish later, it smells horrible in your house, and it doesn't quite have the same texture, and it'll start to actually get rubbery if you do it, or hard. Tortillas the same way. They get wet, they fall through. So I wouldn't suggest it for that. But this was well under our budget of $10. It fed at least me for 3 meals, so that would be 3 to 4 regular people. So this is great. Try it out.
And there you have it. It worked. Oh my god, you better like crawfish, because it tastes like crawfish. So it's very much an Easter thing for me, but this is amazing. I absolutely love this. If you do it differently, you want to see it do it differently, you heard about somebody else doing it differently, and I'm not the first one. I'm probably not the first one, but let us know. Put it down in the comments. That's what they're there for. You can also let us know over on social media. We're on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're at all of those at Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram, Live Between. We had to shorten it down over there. And you can find me on all of those, as well as Twitter and TikTok under my name, Osway Nerdy. And I'll catch you next time. I'm going to go eat more of these damn tacos, man. They're good. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all be safe.